Hello, let me show you how to section off a hat braid and factors that can affect how your hat comes out at the end. First of all, make a section of where you want your hat to be. This is for a beginner so that you will not miss a beat. Share that section into two. This line is the line that is at the end of the hat. It will run in the middle of the hat. So share the section into two, and then at the top you're going to make a curve just as I did on the two sections to make the beginning of the hat or the top part of the hat. Now when you carve the bottom part of the hat, you have to have in mind that this is going to affect how your hat looks. Your hat might be short and fat, just as if you started off making it in a box or as the red hair on top, and your hat can also be slim and long like the bottom hat with the black hair. So this is where you determine that, make it how you want it. Now we are going to proceed to share the hat into left and right hand side. From this line in the middle, we are going to make a line upwards on the two sides. So I will be calling them like the 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock arm, because if you look on a clock it looks like 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock. So this is the 10 o'clock arm, just giving you an instance. Now where you start your 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock arms it's going to affect how the hat will look at the end. I will show you with examples of some pictures I was able to find. If you start the 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock arm towards the bottom of the hat, it will look like the picture of this girl on the left hand side. If you start it at the top, as you can see on the girl with the blue cloth, it looks different. So it affects how your hat looks. Your line should start at least in the middle of the hat. So for the lady with a max, it was started in the middle, but the line was carved towards her left and right, and for the other lady it was carved upwards like a 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock arm. You get what I mean? So these are 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock. Another thing is to make sure that your 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock shares that half of the hat into two equal parts. So it should be equal, like try to make it as equal as possible. There are instances where you can make the 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock arm start off a little bit lower on the middle line, just as I mistakenly did and corrected now, but that I do sometimes knowingly. As you can see here, the 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock arm dips down a little and it makes your hat, the middle of the hat, looks more steep. So that can be done knowingly and it still looks good as far as you know what you are doing. When you are done with your 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock arm, it is time to braid. Now while braiding, you know how when you're making cornrow and you want it to be pointed, you start with the very hair at the beginning of your braid. They tip it like the very few strands at that pointed end. Start with like the very few strands and start braiding it delicately and nicely like someone handling a hat. Braid it upwards. You turn around, curve, and braid it downwards. Okay? There is something else that affects our hat, and that is how we finish off the bottom part of the hat. You can finish it off and make it look dainty and nice. You can finish it up in a way that when it starts getting old, it looks literally like two lines dangling down the side of your head. And there is a way you can finish it and it will like swell up or puff up, like when you make an all back hairstyle and it starts getting old, that demarcation where your hair stops before your neck, like when your hair is getting old, it starts to form like a ridge there. So now we are going to anchor our braids. Anchoring the hat is just adding like a little bit extra hair under to hold down the tails of the braids of the hat before it falls on the skin. So because you don't want it to bump up, this is going to help support, yes, it's like a support, it will support the braid as it finishes off the hat and directs it where it should be and where it should lay as it keeps getting old. So one of the options you can do is to anchor the hair or to direct and support the bottom of your hat the way I just did, by adding a little hair to the ending part and just braiding it. When you get to where you want your hat to end, you have the little hair under and you just braid over that little hair down. This is going to like support the tails of your hat braid and it will help it to age nicely. It will help it to wear nicely. Something else I have noticed is that I try, if I'm making like an all back with designs and there is hat, when I made this and started adding hair extension from the beginning of the hat braid, the hair became too bulky before I got to the end. So if your client or your child has thick natural hair or thick hair, don't add too much hair extension until you get to this point where I am now, and then you can start adding the hair extensions. Okay, just as I did. Remember, I didn't add any hair extension until I got to the bottom, and somehow the hat braid looks nice when it looks kind of dainty, so it doesn't have too much hair. Something else, make sure your 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock arms start the same place. So this is by Get Glam Farm, and he anchored the braid over the ear, as you can see, one on the front and one behind, and it stays nicely. This person did not anchor the braid. I will show you what to do if you don't want to have leftover hair underneath the hat. You have to take one more step to make it look nice. This person did not anchor it and she did not take that extra step. The step is to use needle and thread and tack the bottom of the hat as this person did. If you look closely, you can see she used needle and thread to sew it together so that it guides the hat on how to stay once it gets old. I will show you at the end of this video how to do that. So we have anchored the right hand side of the hat. So now I am making sure the 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock arms match. They should all start from a point. At the end of everything, to be as if you have like a Y, it will look like you have a Y inside of a hat, like the letter Y, capital letter Y or big caps Y. So again, start braiding the teeny tiny hair at the beginning of the hat so that it can pencil and just taper nicely. Braid that and go all the way up. Don't be in a hurry to curve before you get to the curvy part. Just take your time, normal, just like a normal. If you don't know how to cornrow or you struggle with corn rolling, I have 2 videos that I promise you, if you're done watching those videos, from the way I explained it, you will know how to cornrow. You will also know the common challenges people have when they cornrow. I demonstrated it and showed you how to avoid those problems. Those 2 videos will be linked at the end of this one. One of them shows you how to cornrow and the other one shows 7 mistakes I have noticed while teaching people how to braid. Things that they complain about, like the braids not lying down or their lines being crooked because they grab hair from the outer sections they're not working with, or the braids being too loose on the scalp and not having, or the braids being wonky, like it gets tight and it's like gallopy, let me put it that way. So I explained every scenario that causes each of this problem and demonstrated it on camera. I think that is the most valuable videos I have on my channel. Some people do not know. I will link it at the end of this one so that you can see. As I said, do not add too much hair extension to your hat so that it can look kind of dainty compared to the rest of the hair design. And then this tutorial, this clip is from November Love on Instagram. Check her out. But this is how you sew together or tack the bottom of your hat so that when it gets old, it doesn't open up and look like a leaking hat. Okay, and this is what hats look like, and this is what we ended up with. Mine is on a mannequin, her edges is full, which is usually not the case, but you get the gist. Thank you for watching.